Welcome back. I just had a session previously on the IELTS General Writing Tips, and now I welcome you all here to the IELTS Academic Writing Tips for 8 Plus. In case you don't know me, my name is Amsa Venktesan and I'm an IELTS trainer with over 5 plus years experience, and I've trained close to 750 students across the globe, which is 21,000 plus online training hours. I have partnered with an academy to talk to all of you and help you and work together with all of you for IELTS speaking, writing, reading, and listening modules. In today's session, I'm going to be taking all of you through the IELTS academic writing top tips for 8 plus bands. Well, there are just a few requirements for you and few re- coherent and cohesive requirements that you have to put together in place for you to score that 8 plus bands. I know a lot of you have been stuck in 7 plus bands and you really don't know what would elevate you into 8 plus bands. And I think this would be an ideal case for you to take a look into. This is the Let's Crack It series. So, I've been telling my students back and forth that, we always sit and discuss in class about the best, tasks that they enjoy, the tasks that they really love doing the most, and things like that. So, and when I was talking to them, they did get a chance to tell me that, the most difficult task here is the writing task for them. So I'm just checking if you can listen to me. Okay. The most difficult task for them out of all those they have encountered so far. And surprisingly, they told me that it's the writing task, which was really surprising for me as well. So, the point here for us is to understand if the writing task is really a challenge, going forward. So, let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below for the writing task. All right. So, especially if you're into the academic writing section, what exactly do you find is difficult? Do you find the task one difficult, the task two difficult? If so, you find that difficult, why at all do you think it is difficult for you? Just let me know your thoughts in the comments. For us to take a deeper understanding into the IELTS academic writing section and how you have to score 8 plus, there's something called the band descriptors here that you can see. Sorry. So the band descriptors have four major components attached to it. The first component is all about the task achievement. Second is about coherence and cohesion. Third is about lexical resources, and fourth is about grammatical range and accuracy. If you have been following most of my videos, you can see that I talk and lay a lot of emphasis on the band descriptors, because yes, I know that band descriptors are way too important for you to get and up level your skills and at the same time move from ladder 6.5 up to 9. All right, students who have been scoring 6.5 struggle to score 7 or 7.5, and 7.5 to 9, that just happens. And the trick really is to understand what the band descriptors really want you to do. Is it really creating a chaos in students requirements and things like that? So now, if you have to understand the band descriptors the right way and imply all that it wants you to do, you will ace the task and you will start moving up the ladder, right? So, in terms of your task achievement, put simply, if you're an academic student, just for you in layman's terms, task achievement just checks if you're able to present and deliver the task completely, paraphrase it well, and put it all together at once. Are you able to achieve all that's asked in the task? As simple as that. That's all that your task achievement wants you to do. Number two is coherence and cohesion. How well are you able to put things together? Are you giving a proper introduction, a proper body, and a conclusion? Be it for your graphs, for your diagrams, or for your essay writing task. Are you able to present things in a more are you able to present these things in a well organized way? is all that coherence and cohesion is all about. You don't have to think about the terms and get, just be like, what are these terms? This is simply put, right? And then in terms of lexical resources, it just checks your ability to use a wide range of vocabulary. Are you very natural? Does it look very sophisticated when you have these vocabulary being added? Are the vocabulary even related to each other? Are they appropriate? And words like that. So in terms of your grammatical range and accuracy, are you able to present complex sentences? Are you still sticking to simple sentences without conjunctions and without advanced vocabulary? Even if you're presenting simple sentences, how is your grammar in terms of the simple sentences are a few things that they will take a look at. So for you to move a scale up, you should have all the components that I mentioned in each of these band descriptors to be perfect, to be complete, and to be well organized. These are the three things that you have to understand when you're doing the academic writing task, be it task 1 or task 2. Now, let's quickly understand what the task 1, that is today's topic, demands you to do. The task 1 is where you write a summary in response to a given graph, or the graphs could be bar graph, line graph, or pie chart. You will also have completing tables, you will have charts, you will have process. Process is basically how something works or something is done. It's like a diagram. How well are you able to present all of these together? So the topic is basically a graph, table, chart, or a process. So you have to basically write a summary when you see these diagrams or other topics. The duration that will be given to you is 20 minutes, and you have to write at least 150 words. For you to understand what's assessed, why are they even asking me to write this? This is also an important component for you. So you have to understand why they want you to write these things. So for you to understand why they want you to do these things, well, it is your ability to select and report main features. Are you making a note of every single point or data point that's given there? Or are you able to only think about what's necessary, what has to be taken a look into? And are you just noting down the main features? Are you able to present the main features in the right way? It also tests your data to describe and compare different data. Are you able to compare the highest to least or highest to the second highest? Are you able to present a downfall or a high raise? Are you able to tell them what increases, what decreases using different vocabulary? And what's the kind of significant information that you're able to provide in terms of trends, in terms of factual information? How are you able to include them into your body or your concluding paragraphs? And how well are you able to describe a process? It's as simple as that, right? So here I want to, if you've never done your IELTS test before, especially your academic sections, this is how your part 1 looks. If you see here, this is called a bar graph. This is called a line diagram, a pie chart, and describing a table. This is how a table looks. If you see in the previous question, we say it would have a table. All right. So here you can see the instruction here. Instruction varies from question to question, so you just don't have to panic in case you see a different thing. All that you have to know is you have to keep yourself aware of all the different types of questions that you will encounter. So the best suggestion for this would be to practice as many questions as possible, and that's exactly what we do in my plus sessions. So if you're really interested, I would highly recommend you checking out the subscription, and you will have a 10% off. Just because you're coming from this video, you will have 10% off on any purchase that you make on our subscription. So you will have direct access to me and a few other tutors there, so you get a wide variety and a wide a range of learning from different experts there for IELTS. So I would highly recommend you to check that out. Now, for you to take a look at this, you have to spend 20 minutes on this task. Like I said, the duration is 20 minutes. Let's take a look at a few of these diagrams just to understand how it goes. The chart below gives information about science qualifications held by people in 2 countries. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. write at least 150 words. And this diagram says, this bar chart says, science qualification in 2 countries, Malaysia and Singapore. They have given you master's degree, bachelor's degree, school leaving exams, no qualification in science, 0, 10, 20 until 70%. This is one bar chart. Next one says, so before I jump into the next one, here you have a few purposes. The reason, what's the diagram about? That's your first question. First, what is a diagram? It's a bar chart. What's the diagram about? It's talking about science qualifications held by people in 2 countries. Then, what are they asking you to do? They want you to write a summary, just the way you saw in the question. You basically write a summary of what? By selecting and reporting the main features and making comparisons. They want you to talk about the main features, and at the same time they want you to create or make comparisons where necessary or where relevant. So you have the data here. You can see that most of it, that is, which is close to 65%, is no qualification in science, followed by second highest here, a third, and the least here. So now it's all about how well we present the data. We have to give an overview, talk about 1 or 2 higher scores or data points, and we will get into the least data point, right? So that's how we basically organize. So we give them an introduction, which is an overview, and then 1 body paragraph at least that talks about key features. So you can talk about 2 highest in 1 paragraph and 1 least in another paragraph, and then conclude. Although certain questions might not have conclusions all the time, I would still recommend you to include certain conclusions. Here, getting into a line diagram now, the graph shows how elderly people in the United States spent their free time between 1980 and 2010. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. Again, this is a line graph or a line diagram. So what are they talking about? They say, what is this about? What is this diagram? Questions to note immediately. What does this represent? What is this image? It's a line diagram, because you have to tell them clearly in the first introduction as to what kind of a diagram it is. So tell them it's a line diagram. Then what is it talking about? It's talking about how elderly people in the United States spent their free time between 1980 and 2010. So do not copy paste the same sentence there. Instead, paraphrase this sentence and use different vocabulary to report the main feature of the question. Next, what should you do? You should summarize this information. Again, write a summary by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. In this question, I have only given you an introduction as to how you would report the main features. While making comparisons, I would recommend making comparisons in the second paragraph of the body when you're doing the lower, or make your comparison as a concluding statement. So that is even more effective. Here, let's start understanding. When you see this diagram that's so chaotic, that's difficult to understand for anybody, when you just see that like that, I would recommend you to first see the different line colors and understand what do they describe. The blue line describes reading, orange hiking, theater, watching TV, surfing the internet. And understand what's given in the x-axis and what's given in the y-axis, and start with that as an overview. And then find data points. What's the highest data point in each of these? What's the second highest? Try to make comparisons. You can do a different type of an answer here. Make comparisons and give a conclusion. Well, do not worry if you have questions about any of these. We do all of these questions in detail extensively in the Plus sessions, so feel free to hop into my Plus session, purchase the subscription, hop into the Plus session, and ask me as many questions as possible directly, because we will be working on each of these directly there. I will sit with you, do step by step each of these questions, and I will give you the time. We will do timed questions as well to do these, so do not worry. Now, question number 3 is where you should spend again 20 minutes on this task, and this is a pie chart, right? Write a report for a university lecturer describing the information shown below. You should write at least 150 words again, and they have 3 different pie charts that they've given you. World spending, world population and consumption of resources. Now, there are orange, just to quickly, this is a pie chart, and they're asking you to describe the information about world spending, world population, and consumption of resources. Again, here you have to talk about the dark blues, make comparisons of dark blues because I think that's the highest point in both, and then the light blues in three, and then probably you can do an orange and reds. So now you have to see, give an overview properly, do two paragraphs which talks about two different colors and compare them. So blue in world spending and world population, compare. Light blue in those three, compare. Reds in those three, compare, because there's only red here. Compare them and give it a conclusion saying which is the highest or which is the least, which category does it fall under, and you conclude it basically. So that's how you do this. In terms of your, I would say, in terms of your completing the diagram, this is where you have a table and you have some details about number of men, reasons for shopping at ASDA supermarket for number of men and number of women. So you can tell them this is a summary, like a summary completion, where they've given you a summary and you just have to pick some words from here and you have to write it. So that's something again we will do here, but this is just for your knowledge to see the different types of question and how you might have to plan to practice. Again, we do all of these detailed strategies in the plus session, so feel free to hop onto that. Here I have again some sample questions for you with some sample answers. So just feel free to take a screenshot or start practicing about what we have. This is again another one, but this is a different kind of a question where you're given bar charts, you're given pie charts, and they're asking you to pick the words from this box and plug them into the blanks here. So I would say you might have to now know a lot of new vocabulary. You have to know what conjunctions might work, what collocations might work if they've given any here, and you have to start picking them out. Again, for all of these, we have classes and plus sessions. Now, quickly, my top tips for 8 plus is understand what the task is asking you to do. Like I said, make comparisons where relevant. What exactly are they asking you to do? Highlight the features. Write the task in your own words. Do not copy paste from the question. Paraphrase your answer. Don't start writing immediately. I want you to take some time to plan. You have to follow a pattern. Like I said, have an overview, body, and a conclusion. You have to write an overview as the second sentence of your introduction, while looking at the beginning and end will determine your overview. Again, it's as simple as giving it an introduction, body, conclusion. In the third paragraph, you can include more detailed information where you can talk about how has the trend increased or trend decreased, and add data to support your information. Provide examples and statistics for sure, and this is important for you to qualify your answer. Like I said, the inform and qualify strategy, if you have no clue about it, hop onto my plus session, and we had a detailed discussion yesterday and completed amazingly a few number of questions there. Do not include the word below in your paraphrase because that's just from the question. That clearly means that you haven't read the question well. Do not include the term below in your paraphrasing. You can change noun to adjective as required, verbs and phrases when you draft the answer. So this is basically a concept of paraphrasing where you might have to change according to your nouns, you have to change your verbs, you have to change your adjectives and so on. Again, you just have to don't worry about this a lot. Instead, I would highly recommend you to hop onto plus sessions, and where we do a little bit of grammar, and it just depends on where, in case you're not strong with grammar, where else can you improve. It's all about that. Always remember to add linking words to help with your cohesion and coherence. You can add words like in addition to what I'm saying, furthermore, however, although, all these words would really help. Okay, don't forget spelling and punctuation, yes, counts towards accuracy. Don't be in a hurry to do it. Remember to do it with your spellings and punctuations right. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you really like this, I would highly recommend you to hop on to my plus sessions, and you have a 10% off and the discount code is AMSA10, which is in the description box below. I would highly recommend you to check out any of these subscription models if in case you're looking out for to write your test in the next 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or you have enough time to prepare and do that. You can choose among any one of these. You will have unlimited access, flexible timetable. You can download and view these videos offline, and you will also have other EMI options that are available to make learning a breeze for you with Unacademy. I hope you enjoyed this video and found quite a lot of useful tips. Let me know what's your useful tip, what's your most favorite tip from the list of tips in the comments below. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Unacademy IELTS live YouTube channel. I will have my next session again by tomorrow. I will let you know what the topic is, and you can always look for the next topics on the IELTS, the Unacademy YouTube channel. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next session.